Vanakkam. Welcome back to our course on SAP Materials Management. It is important to understand how to configure the SAP system to bring required processes in the right way into the SAP system. We discussed how to configure organization structure and material master from MM point of view in the last two sessions. In S4HANA, the business partner has become the leading object and the single point of entry to maintain supplier under the customer master data. So now in this section, we will be discussing how to configure the business partner. Before going into the session, let us review answers for the quizzes of previous session. List out the functions controlled by material type. The material type controls the functions like number assignment, number range, procurement type, screen setup like allowed fields, field selection, screen sequences, then price control, standard or moving average, then account determination, quantity and value updates. Next is it mandatory to have quantity update and value update for all material types? No. Based on the business need and inventory policy, the quantity update, value update can be updated. For example, in some organizations, consumables will be expensed during the procurement itself. In that case, only quantity update will be required, value update is not required. What is the priority for the order of the field status? The field status priority is hide is the first priority, next is display, then required, that is mandatory, and finally optional. If the procurement type field is not enabled, how to enable it? Yes, we can enable it through material type configuration. Is it advisable to create a new unit of measurement? In general, it is suggested to use the standard unit of measurement provided by SAP because the unit of measurements are given considering various usages across various industries. But if needed, a new unit of measurement can be created. So as we mentioned, the business partner is the single data representing suppliers, customers, and other business partners. So in S4HANA, defining a business partner has become very critical, and also understanding the configuration of business partner is very important. Various steps involved in MM configuration are shown here. In this session, we continue the business partner configuration followed by material master and organization structure of metals management. Normally, separate vendor account groups are created for foreign or import vendors, local vendors, and service vendors. Any logical grouping of vendor account groups should be created to meet the reporting needs of the company. The bifurcation of vendor account groups not only to have focused reporting on different vendor groups, but also enable the assignment of specific pricing schemas for each vendor group. For example, in foreign procurement, different types of charges like letter of credit, opening with the fee with the bank, or demurrage, or customs clearance, LC clearance charges, shipment charges, all these things will be there. To attend these requirement, right, we need to configure a pricing scheme, then they are assigned to the foreign vendors. So another pricing schema with fewer conditions will be configured and they will be assigned to the local vendors. So that is why to have this kind of separations and to provide these specific pricing schemas, vendor account groups are created. Vendor account group is also a way to group the vendors with the same number range and the same attributes. The account group is defined to allow certain fields which can be displayed and to be maintained in the vendor master, that is the business partner. To create a new vendor account group, the menu path is shown here. Once we gone inside, already existing vendor account groups are displayed here. To create a new vendor account group, press New Entries. A new vendor account group SBBT is created. While creating a new vendor account group for one-time vendor, option is there. So one-time vendor means you may need a material in an urgency or emergency, and perhaps Your normal vendor for that metal cannot supply the item in the required time. In this instance, a local vendor or an unapproved vendor may be used for this one-off purchase. Such a record can be used for number of vendors, which reduces the amount of data entry and data maintenance required. Companies also use one-time vendor record for travel expenses, expense reimbursements, vendors that cannot accept companies' purchase orders, etc. A one-time vendor record can be created in the same way as normal vendors using the transaction BP. This we discussed during business partner discussion. So for the vendor account group, SBPT, business partner 1, what is defined here. To maintain the field status of any field, we can have the options like a general data, company code data, purchasing data. We selected the general data and we came into this page. Now the configuration screen is appearing here, showing that the field is whether suppressed or required entry, it is mandatory entry, or it is optional entry, or it is a display entry. This configuration is specific to the account group that is entered when the vendor master is created, that is business partner is created, this will be entered. Next, vendor account, for the vendor account group, number range has to be created. This is created through the transaction XKN1 or through the menu path shown here. When defining vendor number ranges, remember that vendor numbers like material numbers can be externally defined or internally assigned. Right? Externally assigned or internally assigned. Multiple number ranges are created for each group. That is also possible. Careful consideration is required when defining a number range to prevent the number range from overlapping. Hope you remember all these discussions when we discussed about Metal Master number range. Similar to Metal Master number range definition starts with a unique identifier for the range defined with the 2 digits like 01, 02, 03, AA, BN, etc. And then enter the range of numbers to define the number range. NR stage shows that the metal's current where is the metal number available now, right? Where it is running, the current status that is shown here. The EXT field allows to define whether the number range is externally defined or user defined. If we select this checkbox, it is externally defined. And so with this, after completing number range definition, the next step is to assign the number range to the vendor account group. Assignment of vendor account group is done through the menu path shown here. The number range can be assigned to many vendor account groups. If your company decides to use one number range for all the vendors, then the configuration will show only one number range assigned to all account groups. Here we see some different company account groups with the same thing also. For example, the number range 02 is assigned to different account groups. But if the company decides only one, then all the groups will have same number range. Next, we will discuss various steps involved in business partner configuration. Business partner configuration starts with defining and assigning number ranges. To define the business partner number range, the menu path is shown here. Please see that these two screens are the same screen that you have to, they are continue when you see the configuration page. The process of defining and assigning business partner number range are the same steps we discussed during the vendor account groups in the previous just a few minutes back. To assign the business partner number range, menu path is shown here. As shown here, the number range ZJ is assigned to the business partner grouping SBPT. We recommend to create a business partner grouping for each vendor account group. To simplify configuration business processes, even the better method is to use the same identifier between the FI vendor account group, which we discussed earlier, and the business partners. Business partner role category is the highest level of business partner in which various business partner roles can be created for an organization, for the group, or for the person. it is suggested to configure a new business partner role category by copying from the standard available business partner category. This is done through the menu path shown here. Among the list of available business partner role categories, include the standard business partner role category, that is FLVN01, that is already available there. It is used for the purchasing process. Now we may select this FLVN01 in the role category, click on copy as and create the new business partner role category, which will continue in the next page. Here we are having the new business partner role category ZSBPT1, for which we define the title and description. And the differential type, that is a diff type field, is a controlling field, that is the field that controls the type of data or the screens available while creating a new business partner to the specific business partner role category. For example, type 0 will enable maintenance of general data for the business partner. Type 2 will bring up purchasing related fields, tabs, screens for the business partner. And then while type 3 will bring the maintenance of sales area in the business partner. Like this, the business partner role categories can be defined like this. We can also control which or all three business categories are defined here. For example, whether it is an organization or it is a defining person or it is like a group for a particular business partner role, those things are linked to the business partner role by selecting each of these checkbox or together or whichever combination is required. For our discussion purpose, we selected differentiation type 2 to create the new business partner role category for the purchasing function newly created business partner role category, that is a ZSBPT1. Now let us select it and then press on this BP roles and click the new entries to assign the BP role category ZSBPT. Please sure that the standard assignment BP role, that is to the business partner role, that the checkbox is selected. It is important to note that several business partner role categories can be assigned to a business partner role category. Therefore, selecting this checkbox will ensure one standard business partner role is read while creating a business partner master data. So this is the thing to ensure that the business partner role is read when the business partner master data is created. Otherwise, when I create the master data, that will create the issue. And then assign the standard business partner view FLVN01 in the lower half of the screen to ensure standard screens and layouts are available while creating a new business partner of the newly configured business partner role category. So when you get all these things are required when you are creating the new business partner role category. And also in the interface control, you need to choose the predefined control vendor integration CVI views. If no views are selected, settings for business partner view 00000, that is the general business partner, will be used in the dialog box. We will not be able to access the CVI fields from the transaction business partner. So we have to select them accordingly. Finally, the BP role assigned to business transaction on the left hand side of the screen has to be done, and enter the business partner role category and then continue with the process to complete the configuration. Next, the business partners field attributes have to be defined as whether they are mandatory or optional, display or hidden. To control the field attributes, the menu path is shown here. So here you select the business partner role and then click field grouping. Here we see large number of data sets which are there, data sets like vendor partner role, vendor purchasing, like this. Now select the relevant data set which will bring the field groups, which will show that for each group what is it, is it hide or entry or optional entry or display, these kind of things, they will be appearing there. This configuration is specific to the business partner role that is entered when a vendor master is created. When you are creating the business partner role, if that is assigned there, then all these details will be applicable there. So far with this, we discussed about the business partner configurations. Next we'll discuss the customer vendor integration CVI. Setting up of CVI, that is a customer vendor integration, is the mandatory prerequisites for the business partner in SAP S/4HANA. The business partner is the single point of entry to create, edit, and display master data for business partners, customers, and suppliers. Customer vendor integration is done with the following steps. That is setting the business partner role category for business partner to vendor, and then define the business partner role for the vendor to business partner. So all these things to be linked, business partner vendor, the vendor to business partner. And then define the number range assignments for business partner to vendor, and then defining the number range assignment for vendor to business partner. So all these four steps have to be completed. In the step of setting the business partner role category for business partner to vendor, we define the business partner role categories which enable vendor integration in the direction from the business partner to the vendor. We can determine how the system creates a corresponding vendor in FI when we process the business partner. The business partner role category is entered or vendor based, which means the system considers vendor integration when it processes business partners with the corresponding business partner role. In this configuration activity, we define whether the business partner role assigned to the business partner role category is mandatory or optional for the vendor business partner role. When you define it as mandatory, then system automatically creates a corresponding vendors. When it is optional vendor business partner roles, we can determine whether we want to create the corresponding vendor during business partner processing. The prerequisite for this configuration step is business partner roles and business partner role categories must be already created. To set up the business partner role category for the direction business partner to vendor, the menu path is shown here. Business partner role category ZSBPT1 is selected here. The vendor-based radio button will make creating a vendor mandatory when creating a business partner with business partner role category ZSBPT1. The next configuration step, we assign the business partner role to the account group for the vendor master record, in which business partner is to be created when processing the vendor. When we process a vendor as part of business partner vendor integration, system will create a business partner with the relevant account group in the business partner role that are assigned to this group. So before doing this, the prerequisites are vendor account groups in FI have been created. The business partner roles have been defined with relevant settings that are already made. To group together different business partner roles into business partner group, the menu path is shown here. Here, the business partner group SBBT is assigned to three different business partner roles, that is FLVN01, FLVN00, and ZSBPT1. So in this step, we have to assign the vendor account group for the vendor master records to the business partner grouping to ensure that system updates the vendor at the same time during the business partner processing. When we make this assignment, we choose the vendor master record should be created whether with the internal account numbers or external account numbers, and also whether they have to create with identical numbers or different numbers. So before taking this configuration, we have to ensure that the number ranges are assigned to the business partner roles, account groups are determined, and also number range assignment to the account groups are done. Menu path to assign business partner grouping to the vendor grouping is shown here. Here, the business partner grouping SBBT is assigned to the vendor account group SBBT. Please note that to use the same number range for the business partner and also for the vendor, when you are creating the vendor master, we have to select or set these same numbers. The checkbox has to be selected. When I select it, they will follow the same number. This is one thing, which is also suggested practice, because we will not have a different, when you have the vendor number, that will be different, business partner number will be different. These things will create some confusion. Instead of that, to have the same number, it is better to have the option selected. In this configuration step, we assign the business partner grouping to the account group for the vendor master record to ensure that when we process the vendors as part of vendor integration, system allow the update of the business partners at the same time. With this assignment, we can choose the vendor master record should be created whether with the internal account numbers or external account numbers. with an account group with internal or external number assignments or with identical numbers. So prerequisites is the number range and groupings of BP are in place, and also number range grouping of vendor account groups are in place. To assign the vendor account grouping from the FI component with the business partner group, menu path is shown here. And choose the account group for the vendor master data from FI and assign the required grouping for the business partner to it. Apart from these settings, there are additional business partner configurations required to ensure master data creation and business processes run smoothly. To start with business partner type, we can configure a business partner type to group the business partners according to the predefined criteria. We can also control the field like data entry depending on the requirements of the relevant fields. To configure the business partner types, the menu path is shown here. Here we have the newly created business partner type, which is a ZSBP, which will be assigned to the control tab when creating the business partner. Next is the business partner functions. A business partner can vary in size from sole proprietor to large multinational companies. Based on the size of the business, they may perform different functions or operations in different locations or entities. To best describe the various vendors' operations, partner functionality can be described. Partner functions can be used for both customers and vendors. The table provides a selection of available partner codes. Basically, a partner function allows the purchasing department to determine what functions the vendor performs with the large vendor organization. For example, a multinational company, they will process the purchase order to your company. They will supply the metal to your company. So they will have the vendor number VN for them. But the address for which you will send the purchase orders, that will be a different address. That is called ordering address OA. Right? So that will be created as a different partnering function. And then we'll have the contact address that is different, that is a CA. And there is some other place where you have to send the invoices that will be defined as PI. And also there may be alternative PU that will be defined as AZ. All these can be created and entered in the partner function screen in the partner when you are defining it. To define the permissible partner roles in the account group, the menu path is shown here. And here we are selected VN is assigned to the vendor account group SBBT. We can assign the other partner functions also to the group. A vendor subrange functionality can be used to subdivide a vendor's product into different ranges. For example, a vendor can be an office supply materials, and their subrange can be like papers or ink materials or some computer materials like this. The vendor subrange functionality VSR functionality can be entered into purchasing info record for the combination of vendor and material, so that the allocation of material to certain VSR allows the vendor to see the items also sorted in the purchase order in the subrange sequence. The configuration is required to enable this VSR. The transaction YMSG of the menu path, what is shown here, will help us to do this. We may select the current account group and define the vendor account range, or we can create a new group also here and then select the subrange. The subrange can be selected as the vendor relevant or at the plant level relevant. Both these things can be taken. So with these things, we have now completed the settings of a business partner from middle management point of view, and how to create and manage the business partners. We discussed them in the earlier session. Please refer them. Now let us go through the quiz questions for this session. What is the purpose of vendor account groups? For each vendor account group, field status has to be maintained in 3 areas. Which are they? Can there be any overlap in the number range? A number range can be assigned to one account group only, true or false. What is the purpose of vendor subrange functionality, VSR? We discussed the configuration related to business partner in this session. The next session we'll discuss purchase related configuration. Meanwhile, go through the configuration settings explained and explore the description using the help options. Please give your feedback to improve the flow and contents. Thank you. See you in the next session. Take care. Bye.